Anna, what are you doing? Are you still working? Are you aware that Emily will be celebrating her child's first birthday next week? Please remember to bring a gift.
Hello, July. I had to work some overtime today, so sorry about the late response. I'll be sure to remember the present.
Well, I would appreciate it if you could send at least some acknowledgement if you see the message. Anyway, a woman working in a factory must find it extremely challenging. And if that weren't horrible enough, you have to work overtime on top of all that tedious work.
Well, I don't know if I would call it menial. It's not all that bad, really. I only have to work overtime occasionally.
A test work of that kind suits you, huh? However, how long do you intend to carry on like that? I find it difficult to inform my neighbors that my daughter-in-law is employed by a manufacturing.
We've talked about this before, but could you please not talk down on my line of work? I work hard and I'm paid accordingly. I'm proud of my job.
Fine, whatever you say. Try not to get so defensive, though. It isn't becoming. All I mean is that Sam works at such a great company. Do you really need to work at all?
Despite being married to Sam, I still have my own life. He does the work that he wants to do, and I do the work that I want to do.
Wow. You really are a lost cause, aren't you? I'm trying to get your attention to give me a grandchild as soon as possible. I hate to think that such a middling career is what's getting in the way of making children. What do you think God put you on this earth for?
Sam and I want to have kids someday. But we want to do it when the time is right for us, July. And whether we end up having kids or not, I'm happy as long as we're together.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, but I couldn't care less about your feelings, Anna. Although Sam is currently my oldest and only son, but Emily gave birth to my first grandchild. If you can't give us a grandchild, that's the end of his family name.
You speak as though you are entitled to a grandchild or something.
You need to get your act together and pay me what I'm entitled, because that is absolutely correct. There are plenty of fertility clinics these days. Why do you pay a visit? I mean, you're already past 30, for goodness sake. I was only 22 when I had Sam.
I'm sorry if I'm a disappointment to you, July.
To put it mildly, I've been saying you weren't good enough for him from the beginning. Sam graduated from Princeton and worked at a Fortune 500 company. Not only does he take care of you, he even sends me a little money every month. He's a fine son.
I can't argue with that.
When you get married, you should be grateful that his dear dad is still alive. The only reason you are allowed to marry is because he gave his consent. If it were up to me today, there's no way I would allow it.
I see.
I guess you're lucky, at least. Although it certainly is lucky for me, having you as a daughter-in-law. However, please attempt to consider it from Sam's perspective as well. It looks bad for him, not having a kid his age.
Yes, okay. We'll think about it.
I can't take my eyes off you for a second, can I? Anyway, be sure to attend the infant's birthday celebration the following week. I'm sure Sam can't make it because of work, so you need to be there to represent him.
Yeah, I got it.
And don't skim on the gift. You can't afford to get something nice since you don't have any kids of your own.
1 week later.
Anna, are you home yet?
I'm still on my way.
Wow. Anyway, what did you think of the baby?
I thought she was very cute.
Right? Wasn't she adorable? Makes you want one, right?
I did think it might be nice to have a baby around, Ashley.
Huh? Wait? You definitely want one now.
However, we're still unable to take quick action.
What do you mean? What do you mean by saying you don't want to start right away when you come home?
I'm afraid that was I mean. But that doesn't mean we aren't thinking about it.
Oh dear. And after I went through all the trouble of giving you this final chance and everything, but here we are.
Final chance?
After all this talk about being proud of your work at the factory, you only have $2,000 saving in the bank. You shouldn't be wasting everyone's time on this work and you can't even save any money.
Excuse me?
Oh, and I threw your debit cards in the trash for you. I figured with that kind of balance, you might as well not have one.
How did you get a hold of my debit card? And how do you know how much money is in my saving account?
There was a bank statement in your purse. I assume it was yours. There's no need for excuses at this stage. The cat's out of the bag. And as I thought, you really aren't suited for my Sam. Please, just get out of his life. No one has any use for a useless wife that can't make money or children.
Hold on a second. Regardless of whatever you want to think, Sam and I have no intention of splitting up.
Maybe you don't, but I wonder what he really thinks. That boy has consistently paid attention to everything I've said to him. I raise a reliable, flawless young man who doesn't make any mistakes.
I hate it when you say things like that. Children are trophies for parents to flaunt.
I have to tell you that I'm not overly bothered by how you feel about what I say. You're just an insignificant strain on society. As soon as you get home, I suggest you just pack all your things and get out. I think you can operate under the assumption that Sam will be filing for divorce shortly.
Is that right? I think I can operate under the assumption that you're just throwing a tantrum, which will not affect my marriage.
I wonder how long this muck tone will last. I'm looking forward to finding out.
Over 1 month later.
Anna, where's Sam? Why isn't he answering any of my calls or messages?
I believe he deleted your phone number.
What is he doing?
So I wouldn't expect him today if I were you.
What do you mean? Do you know what today is?
Yes, I'm aware. You did plan for him to meet one of your friend's daughters on this particular day, right?
How do you know that?
Actually, Sam told me all about it. You have really hit a new low, July. Sincerely, what did you anticipate would occur if he met that girl? We are married.
I can't understand what is happening right now. Why would Sam tell you about this? Why would he block my number?
I imagine he's probably finally had it with you. I mean, you tried to break up his marriage. That's enough to make anyone hate you.
But it says he understood. He said it would come.
He was aware that you would become furious and barrage him with messages if he agreed. So he took care of things in the most efficient way. He didn't want to use any more energy on this than was necessary. I don't think he has the energy to fight with you anymore. Would you lay off him for a bit, please?
Huh? What is this? What is happening?
He hates when you try to force your ways into things, so he didn't want to tell you this. But Sam has been suffering from depression lately. The savings bank statement that you saw the other day was his, not mine.
The one with just $2,000?
That one? That's right. I forgot that I had it in my bag, so I had no idea what you were talking about the other day. Sam left it in my car, and I put it in my bag to return it to him. However, I forgot about it, and I suppose that's how you discovered it.
I don't believe you.
You didn't think to look at the name on it?
I didn't think it was necessary after seeing that balance. There's no way I would imagine that it could be Sam's. Tell me you're lying right now. No, you're just saying that, right?
Not that it's any of your business, but it's the truth.
And how am I expected to accept Sam's diagnosis of depression? He's a very healthy, capable, normal young man.
He may be in good physical shape, but that doesn't guarantee good mental health. Anyone can become depressed. You can become depressed just as easily as you might catch a cold.
No, depression is only for weak people. There's no way that my son could be depressed.
I wonder if the stress of having to endure such things for so many years could not be the reason. If you were my mother, I would definitely be fleeing as fast as I could. But that's neither here nor there. Please lay off Sam, will you? He's finally starting to recover, little by little.
He's starting to recover. How long has he been away from work?
About half a year now. Before that, he had been attending treatment, but he ultimately decided to stop working and devote all of his attention to his recovery.
Half a year? But then...
What about the money?
He's still been sending me money every month.
I've been sending you that money.
You? As if someone like you could afford to? Do you have any idea how much he sends me?
I'm not sure where you picked up this misapprehension of yours, but my salary isn't that much different from what Sam used to make. That's why neither our nor your quality of life has changed much in the past 6 months.
Hold on, let me get this all straight. You have been paying all of the bills since Sam quit working 6 months ago? And you've been sending me money every month as well.
That's right. I'm glad you finally seem to understand the situation.
No, there's no way. I refuse to believe that. I told this girl that Sam works at a Fortune 500 company. Tell him he needs to get back to work this instant.
Even if he wanted to, it's too late. Whether you want to believe it or not, this is how things are.
Well, what am I supposed to do over here? I finally found him a nice, pretty young girl who has proper respect for me.
I think the best thing for you to do would probably be to contact her as soon as possible and let her know that Sam isn't coming, don't you think?
Why not? She even said she would want me to live with them. She said Sam was just her type.
That sounds like a personal problem, July. Anyway, I should also tell you that Sam and I have decided it would be better if we cut you off.
Huh? What do you mean, cut me off?
It means we think it would be better if we didn't have any more contact. No more calls or emails, and we have already moved to a new apartment. Of course, the monthly checks are going to stop as well. We're not going to be there to help you in case you get into any trouble from now on. If God forbid you to pass away, we don't plan on even going to the funeral.
Stop. That's a little far. I can't live without the money that I've been receiving from the two of you. Sam's fathers didn't leave much after he passed. That's why Sam was sending me money in the first place.
Well, you maybe should have thought about that before you spent all this time harassing me and sneaking around behind my back, trying to ruin my marriage. I'll never forget all the things that you have said to me, whether it's about my work, us not having kids, or I'm not being good enough for Sam. As for me, I want kids. But first, we have to prioritize Sam's health.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I didn't know that you were taking care of him all this time.
Whether you knew it or not doesn't change how terrible what you said was. And you're just apologizing now because you found yourself facing the loss of your monthly allowance. If you need money so badly, maybe you should consider working for it instead of depending on us.
But I've never worked. I stayed at home raising Sam and Emily. It would be impossible for me to find work now.
You sound spoiled. And I know that Adam left you enough money when he passed away to last well into retirement if you lived reasonably. There's no one to blame for it running out so quickly, but you and your wasteful spending.
I'm what they call a baby boomer. I feel entitled to certain expectations about how I should live.
You know, there are quite a few people your age who work at my factory.
Out of a question. I could never stoop to such a level.
For the past 6 months, your lifestyle has been supported by this amount of employment. Which is lower, working here or leeching off of someone who works here? I really can't stand you or your way of looking at the world. I've been biting my tongue this whole time for Sam's sake, but I just can't sit here quietly this time.
Let's not act hastily, Anna. I promise I won't tell you to give me a grandchild anymore. And I won't think that you aren't good enough for my son anymore.
It's painful watching you scrambling right now. Nothing you say is going to change my mind.
Please, give me one more chance. Can you rethink this?
No one has any use for a mother-in-law that nags, look down on your work, and costs you money to boot. You said that I was a drain on society. But I would say that description fits you perfectly.
Later.
After that, it appears that July was forced to sell her home because she was unable to support herself. The house wasn't paid off, but with the $150,000 or so she got from it, she went to her daughter Emily's house and asked to live there. But Emily told her it was impossible, and July ended up in an old apartment by herself. I think that just having a place to live is enough to be happy about, but apparently that wasn't the case for July. It appears that the life she had envisioned for herself was very different from living in an outdated, run-down flat after losing the opportunity to spend money at will. And that difference weighed heavily on her. On top of that, the story about how she was trying to break up our marriage and arrange a second wife for Sam spread through the family, and other relatives also kept their distance from her. I heard from the neighbors that July lost her will to live completely as a result, and now spends all her time just going back and forth between her home and a mental health clinic. Illness is a very tough thing, I know, but I'm hoping maybe she's gained some insight into the pain that Sam was going through. Now, Sam and I are living our lives peacefully without so much as a text from July. Sam has recovered enough to at least start working part-time, and he started studying for some certifications. From here on out, Sam and I are going to move forward arm in arm, step by step. There's nothing better than living life at your own pace.